Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for hanging in there for recaps of Teen Mom OG. It's been a long road, y'all. I got really sick last week, and of course, if you follow my community tab, you know immigration issues, of course, right? My visa to be here in France expires very soon, and I just got turned down for pre-submission of one of the visas that I wanted to apply for. So now we're scrambling for another one, and I only have so much time. I've got like a month and a half to get that underway, so that's why it's a little complicated for me right now on videos. I'm trying to stay here. You know, the main reason I left Canada was because I hate winter. So how tragic would it be for me to be deported at the start of those brutal Canadian winters? I can't, you guys. Please pray for me. So you guys, can I just get some quick, oh sorry, I'm live on TikTok as well, by the way, FYI, you guys. So so can I just ask you guys really quickly, did you watch last week's episode of the show? So my big comment from last week, you guys, was why did Amber say that stuff about like, oh, like I don't want Leah's vibe to be weird when I go visit her? It's like, obviously her vibe would be at least a little bit like off because she doesn't like you, right? And like Amber goes over there, she barely even acknowledges the girl. She bounces and basically calls it a waste of time, the visit with her daughter. And it's like, oh my God, like this is literally the problem that your daughter has with you, that she feels like you don't love her and value spending time with her, and this is how you speak? Really, girl? Like she just doesn't get it. Hey Fran, that's where I'm from too. Hi, back to you, Ottawa. So anyway, that was that for the most part. And Maci being tired was a storyline. I was like, oh my God, I can't with this. So anyway, with that being said, let's hop into this week's episode. So at the very beginning of the episode, Mackenzie talks about how she wants her kids to start contributing a little bit more around the house. So she's got a chore board for them. Do you guys think a chore board is going to work out for her children? Are they chore board children? To me, I kind of feel like she in particular has let them go for so long, kind of like running like the house like on their own, that this probably won't really work for her. But we'll see. Before she could even get into figuring out whether or not this chore board works for her kids, she gets into a full-fledged, like one-sided argument with her husband, Josh. He's just sitting there minding his own business, getting ready for her to assign the chores. And then what happens? She's like, you literally look like you hate everyone. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And then she storms off and she's like, I'm not effing doing this. You are a DICK, Josh, in front of the kids. Was that appropriate, you guys, or no? I have a quick Ramster. She goes, Josh needs a chore board. Susie says that she needs to go parent off camera. It really does seem like she probably needs to focus a little bit more on that indeed, rather than the whole television show at this point. Esmeralda says that it is a good start, right? You guys, oh my God. I kind of cringed a little bit, watching her but literally curse her husband out in front of the kids, calling him a DICK. And then she storms off in earshot of everybody talking about, I don't want to be with him, after she slammed the door. It was wholly inappropriate. And I felt bad for the kids in that moment. And she literally says that her life would be better off if he just left Florida in general. And I kind of felt like, damn, girl, like a bit intense. She says this every time, but then like she never actually goes anywhere either when it comes to their relationship. So it's like, are you in or are you out? You're always half in, half out, and that's not good for your kids. Like, and I think that it kind of shines through in the way that the kids are kind of having a hard time handling school right now, right? Like they've been through a lot, and then their parents are a little bit unstable as well. So it's really not surprising that they're struggling, right? So now Amber then talks to her producer about the state of her relationship with Leah. And I kind of felt a little bit like, are we kind of invalidating Leah's actual feelings here? Because Amber claims that Leah is disoriented about what their relationship is. And I'm kind of like, no, Leah is not disoriented, Amber. Leah is very clear in that she doesn't feel as though she really has a relationship with you because you kept on ghosting her over the years for all of these random men. right? So no, that isn't fair for her to say. I kind of felt like, could we use gaslighting here? I know the word gaslighting is a little overused, but was she kind of low key like gaslighting the situation with her daughter a little bit, or like rewriting history on that thing? Because it just did not sound like she was being honest, right? She was really trying to skirt responsibility per usual. Shannon Van is here. Thank you so much, Shan, my amazing moderator. So now let's see. Okay, so you guys are saying Mackenzie and Josh are very unstable. Tadisha says Amber's the only one who's disoriented. LT. You guys are so shady. Oh my God, I love it. Abby says that is a definition of gaslighting. Okay, okay, good. Because I don't want to be, part of the gang that overuses that term and like throws it around, because it is a serious term. And, I felt very strongly about what it was that she was doing with Leah. Oh my God, people are starting watching me on TikTok. Hey, TikTok. I'm doing a recap of this week's episode of Teen Mom OG over on YouTube. If you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel as well. But feel free to stay there too. So now next up, Gary talks to Christina about how he would like to speak to a therapist or a parenting coach for advice about how he's handling the rift between Leah and Amber. And listen, I thought that was a very good thing on his part, because he's not in an easy situation, right? He knows Leah doesn't want anything to do with Amber, but he's kind of also on the side of how long will this last? And is it okay to let this like continue drifting along, or is there something I should be doing? So it is really smart of him to go out there and get outside help on this situation, because I think that it can only help him and Leah try to navigate this complicated situation. You know what I mean? So I'm happy for him, because in the past he did kind of mention that he wasn't really into the whole like therapy thing. So it's great that he has kind of turned around to it. But not only that, but that he's open to getting a parenting coach as well. I think both things working in tandem really can help him out. And of course, help Leah out as well. I think that's the most important thing of all. Now, you guys, was Macy stank this episode, or was she stank? Because it was kind of weird. I really didn't understand her attitude. Like, I'm going to go a little bit easy on her, because again, she is struggling from PTSD. So obviously she's not in her right state of mind. She's going through a whole lot. But I don't know, like her attitude this episode was a little stank to me. So I was not really all that impressed with it. But anyway, I digress. This is what happened. She's sitting on the porch with Taylor, who just finished playing golf with their joint friend, their mutual friend, Raj. Remember, Raj is a day one friend of Macy. So I guess he became a friend of Taylor's as well. And they were golfing. And so Taylor sits down on the porch to talk to Amber about it. And not Amber, Macy about it. And he's like, we were hanging out, talking about how stressful life is. And then, he also asked me how you were doing, which is only natural, because again, Raj is a day one friend of Macy. So of course he wants to know how she's doing, right? And Macy gets a little bit of an attitude. Taylor tells her, I told him I feel a little bit helpless sometimes, because there's so much I want to do for you to like help you to make things easier for you with the PTSD. But I just don't know sometimes, what I can do. And so she goes, have you thought about maybe talking to Dr. Carol? Did you talk about yourself? You did an awful lot of talking about me, and I didn't like it, but again, Macy is struggling with PTSD, which cannot be easy. So I'm going to go easy on her, but I want to let her know that she is, I'm putting her on notice a little bit right now, because this made me feel bad for Taylor, because Taylor really is doing everything. He's trying his hardest to make her feel better, to make this transition a little bit easier for her, to help relieve the stress of PTSD. And Petra, you have not missed much, girl. It's only been 10 minutes. Don't worry. You got some time to go. She knows she has no storyline anymore. So she's saying, I think that it's very real to her, and it's very real what she's going through. But it's sad to see the way that she is handling Taylor in this instance, because all he's trying to do is support her as her husband. And, I wish that she would let him. So one thing I have to add, though, is that she actually did suggest that he go and talk to her own psychiatrist, Dr. Carol, which I felt like was good, right? Because she's already dealing with her own PTSD, so she can't exactly help him out with his, right? With his side of managing her PTSD. She's got to focus on herself, and I totally get it. And I felt like that was a good suggestion. By the way, you guys, I watched full episodes of Teen Mom OG and Young and Pregnant, which I will be recapping a little bit later this week or on the weekend, using a VPN. I've got an affiliate link to the one that I use in the description box down below. If you want to support this channel, watch those full episodes and everything. Make sure to get yourself a VPN, select that you're watching from Canada, and head on over to ctv.ca. So after that, Caitlyn and Tyler go on their visit with Carly. Nova was there. Caitlyn's grandma was there. Caitlyn's mom was there. And Tyler's mom was there as well. And then shortly after that, we get a scene of Gary talking to his therapist. And, he's talking about why Leah wants nothing to do with Amber. And the reason why Leah wants nothing to do with Amber is because Amber had been ghosting Leah for years, right? She would say she would come see Leah and then she wouldn't come. And then Gary says straight out of his mouth, she was putting men above her as well. By the way, when reunion time comes along, I think Amber is going to have something to say about that, because Amber does not like to be called out on her SHIT, right? And here Gary is in 4K talking about Amber chose men over her daughter time and time again. Her own daughter said it like earlier in the season as well. So she really, I feel, is going to be on the defensive come reunion time. So the therapist, I felt like, said everything that I'd been seeing over the years, right? So this year, Gary and Christina are finally listening to and validating Leah's feelings, which is that she doesn't want anything to do with her mom. She needs space. She needs time, right? And in the past, Gary and Christina, in my opinion, used to push and almost force that relationship between the two of them. And I think that they're now slowing down on it, mainly because Amber came for their relationship for the millionth time, rather than because they're trying to listen to Leah per se, but at least they're listening at last, right? And so, the therapist tells her, listen, Leah has to feel like she's being validated. You can't just push her into having a relationship that she doesn't want with her mother, because then you're going to act like all the trauma that she went through as a result of, her mom kind of being a deadbeat, kind of choosing all these men over her, ghosting her and all of that doesn't really matter. And so, yeah, I was really happy to see someone say that to him in the flesh. So she did kind of bring up the idea of a joint psychiatry session or therapy session between Leah and Amber. And that's something that Amber had been kind of talking about. And I like it, but I do believe that if they're going to go down that route, it has to be with a neutral third party, not with the psychiatrist that Amber is currently seeing. I'm kind of curious how you guys feel about that. Should it be with a neutral third party or nah? By the way, TikTok friends, if you're tuning in now, I am just doing a live recap on my YouTube channel. Great support of this week's episode of Teen Mom OG. So now, a little bit later on, Mackenzie, she's blaming her outburst at Josh in front of the children on diabetes. She's saying, listen, it is not easy. It is very hard to go through life with messed up blood sugar levels. If it's low, I'm acting out. If it's high, I'm acting out. And it's very hard to get my blood sugar levels to the perfect medium. And I kind of felt like, I don't know. Are you guys diabetic? Because if you're diabetic, you can speak to this better than I can. But to me personally, from the outside looking in, it felt like a little bit of a cop-out on her end, because she's been disrespecting this man for years on the show and in front of the kids and everything. So she couldn't have had low or high or whatever blood sugar every single time that she's done that, right? Like, I think that it's just how she feels about him. I don't think she has respect for him, and it shows in the way that she interacts with him. Shan says it should be with someone that Leah is comfortable with. This needs to be on Leah's terms somewhat. I 1000% agree with you. It 100% should be on Leah's terms. By the way, you guys, if you're enjoying this recap, please make sure to leave a thumbs up so it continues to pop up in your algorithm. And I will be working on that Teen Mom OG recap. Young and Pregnant recap as well. I just haven't watched the last 2 episodes. So next up, Taylor, he actually goes and speaks with the psychiatrist that Macy suggested that he goes to speak to, Dr. Carol, who she's been going to. And, he's so kind. He talks about how, like, he, if there was something he could do to help Macy, help her fix it, he would absolutely do it. And I feel like, you know what? good for you. That's exactly what you should be doing as a husband. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that he took that step. And like, it's very clear that he cares about her and he wants to take all of this stuff seriously. So that's why, like, it kind of like extra hurts to see Maci kind of treat him like dirt in this week's episode, you know? So a little bit after that, what happened? Caitlyn and Tyler talk about their visit with Carly. And so they talk about how tall she is, how her hair was braided all down her back. You know, every time I say something all down her back, I think of that like book, Miss Mary Mac, all dressed in black, black, black with silver buttons. But do you guys like that? Do you remember that too? That used to be my jam back in the day. My jam. Thank you so much, MG. I cut them myself. So now, so after that, we get them talking about the braided hair. And then Tyler talks about, and this is something that I found very interesting. He talks about how Carly is at like 12 years old, already better spoken than he is, you know, and Caitlyn kind of agrees. And I was kind of like, listen, socioeconomic status and the education of your parents has a lot to do with how well you do or do not speak oftentimes. So I was kind of like, yeah, like this is a testament to how important it is to be in a good place financially and whatever in your life to have kids, because you do really set them up for that next level. Like Caitlyn and Tyler, their parents were suffering with addiction a lot of times, like throughout their lives. They were born on the poverty line or just below it and everything. They were dealing with so much. So, you know, obviously they do speak at a different level than what Carly deals with, right? Because her parents on the other side seem a lot more stable. They're a lot more educated, obviously. And, you know, they have a more stable life in general. They have more disposable income and stuff like that. She's probably going to she's definitely going to better schools than they went to. So all of these things really do matter when it comes to your children's education, which ultimately helps set them up to be, you know, in a better place in life at the very end of the day. So I'm sure that they felt very proud that Carly was speaking at such a high level. I know I would be. I thought that was really amazing. So then they kind of roll back the footage, you guys, of the wedding. And Kate, you guys tell me what stuck out to you, because they had the first dance with Carly at the wedding. And in all that footage, I was like, I did not even remember how much deadbeat Amber tried to make Tyler and Carly's first dance thing all about herself. She was out there crying. Maci had to comfort her with a hand and everything. She was crying like, sis, you ghost your own daughter. You choose men over your own daughter. And this has been for years. You were allegedly chasing your baby daddy around with a machete while he was holding your own baby. And you're over here crying for somebody else's child, like you are mother of the year, like you care about children. You just want attention, okay? And she was so obnoxious, I swear to God. And if you notice, as usual, Kung Fu Portwood, tear-free Portwood, does not have an actual tear streaming down her face. She's crying for attention. Oh my God. Did you guys catch that too? I was like, stop it. Stop it. You are so fake. All that crying and you barely even spend time with your own child. Get out of here. Anyway, so now Gary, he actually goes ahead and recaps his parenting coach session with his wife, Christina. And here's where I kind of go like, okay, these parents always have me and then they lose me a little later on. By the way, you guys, this comfy sweatshirt I'm wearing is from my reality merch website, realitymerch.com. So nasty and so rude. Nene Leakes from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. See, you guys caught it too. You guys are like, listen, Amber, you are so fake. Stop it. Where is Butch? Butch, he was in and out of jail again. So I think that they kind of are giving him some tough love from a distance. And he flopped out of rehab too, I think. So I don't really think they're really keeping that much contact with him. So he's talking to Christina about his session with the parenting coach. And then this is where he loses me again, because Gary is not financially stable, okay? He owns several homes. He's got his house. He's got his farm animals. He's got everything. And so he really doesn't need to do the show. And he talks about all the pain that Leah feels from Amber doing all this stuff on social media, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I know it's not 100% him. Amber is the mom and it is Teen Mom OG. So I think as long as Amber wants to keep doing the show, they got to do it in some capacity. I don't know. You guys help me out here. But this turned me off a lot because he goes, the parenting session, blah, blah. I never want to put words in Leah's mouth. And then I don't really want to talk about it too much either, because her whole life has been on camera, which is true. Leah was born on TV, on camera. And so she's very private. It seems like she likes to have some privacy. So then at this point I go, well, you notice your daughter wants to have privacy. You notice she's very embarrassed by all the stuff her mom does publicly and the publicity, the level of visibility that she has with her dysfunctional family. So why are you still here? Right? Gary can very easily stop signing release forms for Leah to appear on the show, and then they can all fade into obscurity, which I think is what Leah wants. So why is this something that he is not doing? You understand, you recognize that she wants privacy and that her whole life has already been on television. Here she is now 13 years old. So she didn't have childhood at all outside of the cameras, and you won't give that to her. You know what I mean? Like, that I don't understand. I don't understand. Exactly. This is what I mean when it comes to these people. When people go, oh, which one's a good parents? Listen, is anybody who would sell their child's entire childhood out, put them on TV, put their all dysfunction on TV, can they really be considered a good parent in any capacity? To me personally, no. So anyway, Cheyenne, this whole episode, she's been kind of like feeling like the pains, the labor pains or whatever. They were talking about inducing her and stuff. And so at some point, Corey FaceTimes to send some love and support to Cheyenne, and of course, talk to Ryder as well. He is away filming the challenge. So he's been away from Ryder's life for a little bit, for at least a month at this point. And it was cute to see that. Like, I really love their dynamic there. And then Taylor, next up, talks to Maci about his session with the psychiatrist. And he's like, listen, I was just talking to her about your PTSD. And there are times that I can really see it weighing on you. And I want to know what I can do to help you, what helps you, what doesn't help you. I genuinely feel helpless. And then Maci cops an attitude, which I don't know why she caught an attitude, but she caught an attitude. She goes, well, this may seem super selfish, but I don't find it helpful when you say that you feel helpless. I'm like, sis, really? Like, why would you cop an attitude with him? Because listen, this man is now shuttling all of these kids by himself because she can't go by that one road. There's a one road to get to the school, especially for Bentley, I believe, and it passes by the gas station where she had the shooting at. And so now he's in charge of all of that. They've got 3 different kids. They're all in so many activities and stuff. He's pumping gas for her because she can't go to gas stations to pump gas because of the PTSD. He's doing so much, and it's obviously affecting him in some way. So why would he not be allowed to open up about that and discuss that? I was quite disappointed in Macy's kind of I don't want to say belittling, maybe that's too strong of a word, but dismissive attitude to what it is that he is currently going through. Kimberly says, question, is Maci going to end up divorced? Listen, the majority of marriages end up in divorce these days, right? So I don't know. I think what they're going through is just a really traumatic period. And I think that for that reason, she's just not herself right now. And it's perfectly understandable. But I think that Taylor's a very committed person, he seems like. So I see them working, and she does too. So I see them working through it at the very least. Maci didn't hear him. She heard what she wanted to. Yep. Taylor's just trying to help. Like, he is trying to do so. Like, here's the thing. Did Maci forget where she came from? Because before Taylor, what did she have? She had Ryan freaking Edwards, who he had no job, he had no school, he had nothing going on for him at the time. And she would ask him to watch the baby for a couple of hours while she studied to get like her degree, her associate's degree or whatever. And he couldn't even do that because he wanted to play video games, right? And you go from that to this man who was doing all of this stuff for you and still wondering how he could do more, and you're going to cop an attitude? Girl, you really forgot what you came from in the relationship department. And yeah, it makes me sad. So I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I was really disappointed in that. I have to say, I really do have to say I was quite disappointed, but I have to give her a pass. She's going through PTSD. And when you're going through that level of trauma, she was in the midst of a shootout, right? Like, you're not yourself. So give her some time. I'll give her some time and some grace. So was this scene weird to anybody else? This next scene with Nova, where first of all, it was all voiceovers. So Caitlyn, Tyler, and the family is in the Airbnb that they rented. And there's like this voiceover of Nova crying that they all filmed like it didn't happen, right? So they all filmed it to recreate it. And Tyler and Caitlyn are scolding poor Nova and stuff. And I felt like kind of uncomfortable by it. It's like, first of all, this is not even real. So why would you like pretend that this happened? Because this is not a good look for you guys, right? And then it kind of seemed like Nova was acting out because remember, they're on their Carly visiting weekend. And of course, everything is about Carly right now. And Nova might feel a little bit jealous of that because, of course, she is a child. But yeah, it was very weird, that scene. Like the voiceover, the fakeness of it all, and like why they would need to fake that. Like, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, after that, Tyler talks about how he's not comfortable crying in front of Carly. And it felt like his mother gave some pretty good advice, which is saying a lot because that woman is dense. She goes, I think it would be a good thing for you to cry in front of her because it gives her permission to cry and it would help her kind of process her feelings and understand that it's okay to feel sad about the situation. And I was like, yeah, I think that is 100% true. But on Tyler's side, I don't think that it's a toxic masculinity thing. I think that maybe he doesn't feel like it's okay for him to cry in front of her because Brandon and Teresa, right at the end of the day, are her parents, and he doesn't want to feel like he's doing too much. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I'm kind of feeling like. You guys are all saying bye. What are you guys saying bye to? I missed it. But yeah, I think that is kind of what he's kind of a little bit apprehensive about. And so yeah, like I get it. But I do think that his mom did ultimately end up giving him some pretty good advice. So here's one thing. I have a question for you guys. Next up, Mackenzie goes over to Josh to apologize to him for her massive outburst. And let me put it up again, where she called him DICK in front of the kids, accused him of looking like he hates every single one of them, and then says that she doesn't even want to be with him and she wants him to flee the state. So she goes up to him. He has the baby. You listen, Bronx is a cutie pie. Bronx, I really like him, of Mackenzie's kids. He is, my fave. You guys keep saying bye to someone, Hannah or something. What is going on? So, so she apologizes in front of Bronx, and I want to know how you guys felt about that, because I have to say, I loved it. Because listen, the fight happened in front of the kids, so why can't the reconciliation happen in front of the kids as well, right? I think that it's really important for kids to see how fights happen and how they can be resolved. I think that it taught, some resolution skills to Bronx, some conflict resolution skills, and that, you can apologize when you do things wrong or when you do this or that. Like, this is how you do it. This is how you take accountability and everything. And I liked it. I actually liked it. I feel like this was something that Mackenzie didn't even realize was a really good parenting moment for her, right? And I really, really like that for her. So she says, I don't want to make excuses for myself, and then she reiterates how she feels about Josh being very different off camera and everything, how he shuts down on camera and stuff. And yeah, he obviously forgives her. He always forgives Mackenzie, right? And so that was quite nice. So now, in the final scene of the episode, Cheyenne is ready to go to the hospital and give birth to baby Ace. And I've got to say, all the love and support she's got surrounding her is absolutely nothing short of amazing. This is something that I really love about her scenes. Everyone is just so functional, right? Like, these are like happy, well-adjusted, happy, functional people, and I really love that for her. Listen, she was spicy. She was giving us some spice. She was giving us some toxicity at the very, very beginning of the season. But like, she really is settling in and, mellowing out. And I love that. I thought it was very sweet when Little Ryder told her, "You're my favorite mom in the whole world. I love you." It's just beautiful. It's really, really, really something to see. And I love that. I think that you do need a little bit of that balance, that spice, and that, something. So you guys, that does it. A recap of what Allie says, bring back Farrah. Here's the thing, Allie. Farrah's going to be back on that spinoff show that they're doing, and I'm really looking forward to that, I have to say, because we do need her back. She is interesting, and she's everything, right? So I'm really looking forward to watching that spinoff. We haven't really heard too much about it lately. Like, where is it going? Is it going to be on MTV? Is it going to be on another network? Because you know how like the Housewives has that big spinoff thing, but it's not on Bravo. It's on Peacock or whatever. I'm really interested to see how it goes. How many episodes? Everything. Where's the trailer? Drop me something. Anyway, you guys, that does it. A recap of what happened on this week's episode of Teen Mom OG. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me for this recap. I'm going to be watching the 2 episodes of Young and Pregnant and recapping those as well through during the weekend. So keep a close eye out for that. But in the meantime, I hope you have a great weekend, everybody. Again, if you want a VPN to watch the full episodes of Teen Mom OG, Young and Pregnant, Teen Mom 2, whatever, I've got an affiliate link to the VPN that I use in the comments section down below. And if you want holiday season, some fun reality merchandise, head over to realitymerch.com. That is all for now, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.